Once it was wagon wheels like these that carried humanity forward, mounted on wagons that transported stone, timber, fodder, animal manure, trade goods, cannons, and people for thousands of years. Now it's wheels like these that contains a large part of mankind's memory, our cultural heritage. But they decay, they rust and rot. Therefore they must be repaired or replaced, preserved. But who will do this? There are hardly any trained wheelwright and carriage makers left. It is at the last minute if these bearers of old knowledge are to pass on their skills to the craftsmen of today and the future, so that they in turn can train the wheel and carriage makers of the future at museums and other cultural institutions. Children and young people should also in the future be able to experience driving in a horse-drawn carriage, notice the wagon wheels crunch over cobblestones while the horses snort and clatter their hooves in front of them. The old wagon wheels and wagons still exist, for example at the open-air museums, where they are sought to be preserved as cultural heritage. Therefore, it is natural for these museums to share knowledge and practical experience, so that they at least may be able to preserve their own wagons and wheels.
These parts out. You can also steam it, but
yet there is no permanent organized cooperation on the preservation of these old crafts. But efforts are still being made to maintain practical and theoretical knowledge of these subjects. It is just not coordinated. This led a group of museum professionals and craftsmen to join a seminar at the end of April 2024 that was meant to be the beginning of a long-term project for preservation of old wheels and wagons.
Welcome to Den Gamle By.
And the craftsmanship required for this.
That was one of the focus points for Even at the beginning.
To inspire the group, excursions were made to the open-air museum, the Old Town in Aarhus, to the Wood Museum in Odense, and to the blacksmith and carriage maker Benny Mortensen. The presentation of the participants and the demonstration in the wheelwright workshop and in the smithy was followed by a seminar. With speeches and submissions, the purpose of the project was discussed. This includes the possibility of forming networks between relevant Scandinavian museums and educational institutions. In addition, the possibility of gathering and communicating knowledge as well as involving neighbors and the neighbor tradition in the project was debated. The destination the next day was the Wood Museum in Odense in northwest Jutland. Here you will find, among other things, a large collection of old hand tools and machines for working wood. The museum has an extensive experience in holding courses and workshops. Among other things, in wood turning, weaving, intarsia, furniture upholstery, and sculptures. From the Wood Museum, the trip went to blacksmith and coachmaker Benny Mortensen in the same area. Benny Mortensen has built and restored horse-drawn carriages for decades and is still going strong. He likes to share his vast and extensive knowledge of old wheels and horse-drawn carriages. It is just a matter of picking it up. But this must be done shortly, because even though Benny has projects going on that extend many years into the future, he, like most of his colleagues, is no longer young. And if their knowledge and skills disappear, the cultural heritage they hold will be lost forever.
Den er lavet af gammel grundvej fra stuehuset, da den brændte.